He's a young man that was kidnapped, experimented on, and turned into a part human, part animal hybrid. Let's get into today's video and find out who is Falcon. Joaquin Torres is the name of the young man who would take over the mantle of Falcon after Sam Wilson abandoned it to become Captain America. When Joaquin was 6 years old, his mother and grandmother made the dangerous journey across the desert to enter the United States. After making it, they settled down in Arizona, where Joaquin would grow up and graduate high school. Joaquin was sympathetic to those who were trying to cross the border to the U.S. like his family had done years ago. So he did what he could to help and would leave medicine, food, and water in the desert for those that had chosen to make the dangerous journey. On one of his Good Samaritan outings to drop off supplies, Joaquin was abducted by the group the Sons of the Serpent. The group had been abducting people who were trying to cross the border and selling them to Dr. Carl Malice, who would use them as guinea pigs in his genetics experiments. When he went missing, his grandmother made a plea to Sam Wilson, who had taken over the mantle of Captain America, to find her grandson. Captain America took on the case, and his investigation eventually led him to Dr. Carl Malice. He confronted Malice but was caught off guard. Malice unveiled his new superpowers that he had gained from the symbiote Carnage and captured Captain America. Malice then experimented on him, turning him into a werewolf-like being. Misty Knight would come to Captain America's aid and free him, but she couldn't hold back from cracking a few jokes about his new appearance. By that time, Malice had moved to another location to continue his genetic experimentation, but had taken Captain America's Falcon, Redwing, with him, unaware that the two had a psychic link. Captain America was able to use that link and find Malice's location, and he and Misty Knight defeated Malice. In the process of recovering Redwing, they came across the missing Joaquin Torres, who had been subjected to Dr. Malice's genetic experimentation. They took Torres to Dr. Claire Temple so she could assess the severity of the mutation. After some time studying the mutations, Dr. Temple came to the diagnosis that the mutations that occurred from the genetic experimentation were temporary, and that all of the subjects the Sons of the Serpents had provided Malice would return to their normal state, including Captain America, in a relatively short time. All of them, except for the young Joaquin Torres. Dr. Malice used Redwing's DNA to mutate Torres, and Redwing was no ordinary bird. Redwing carried vampiric traits from the time he was bitten by the vampire Baron Blood when he and Captain America had battled him. Among those traits was a healing factor that now prevented Joaquin's mutation from regressing. Torres was now stuck as a human-falcon hybrid with a healing factor whose arms have been partially turned into wings, granting him the ability to fly. He also has a psychic link to Redwing. While Torres was recovering, Captain America was captured by the Serpent Society after being betrayed by Diamondback. Redwing sent a message to Torres using their psychic link to let him know that Captain America was in danger. After receiving the message, Torres broke out of his confinement and flew to Captain America's aid. He arrived just as Captain America had been pushed out of the window of a tall building by Viper. Torres clumsily caught Captain America and helped to break his fall as the two crashed to the ground. Torres then found himself and Captain America, who was in no shape to fight, surrounded by the Serpent Society. Captain America was able to use their shared psychic link with Redwing to coach the inexperienced Torres through fighting the Serpent Society, making it so he was able to hold off the Serpent Society long enough for Misty Knight and D-Man to show up and assist. Shortly after his encounter with the Serpent Society, Torres got a costume patterned after Sam's original Falcon one. He would also take up Sam's old codename and become the new Falcon and Captain America's sidekick. Well, that's the origin of Joaquin Torres the Falcon, and that'll do it for today's video. As always, I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day to stop by the channel and check out this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you again real soon. But until then, I'm out. Peace.